you go through things as a vegan, whether it's seeing actual animals getting slaughtered or seeing, a bowl of ground beef, seeing the abstract final product of that industry. You go through things that make you want to cry, but you go through things that make you want to change the world, make the world a better place too. And in some ways, it's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing to have something meaningful in your life, something that matters to you enough that it makes you want to cry, that it makes you want to change the world for the better, that it motivates you in small ways, day by day, change your lifestyle, and maybe in big ways, long term, try to change the world around you. I wish I could say that what we preach with veganism is that we can make the world a better place. But a lot of the time, all that we're preaching is that you can choose to wake up and recognize how terrible the world really is. You can choose to confront and admit to yourself something horrific that's ongoing around you all the time, just out of sight, just out of mind, that's part of the fabric of the society and the culture we live in. That's a fundamental aspect of the economy, ongoing day by day at all times. You can choose to see the reality of that instead of sleepwalking. That's an incredibly bleak message to carry with you and to try to share with others, no matter how positive a spin you put on it. And I have this contrast in my life as a result of my micro fame, my fame to a few hundred, a few thousand people, between the bleakness of that day-to-day experience, that short-term and that long-term struggle, and the weird mix of adulation, just extreme emotions that people have toward me on the internet. So yesterday I had a somewhat depressing experience that'll be common to a lot of vegans. Many of you will have experienced this in your home country or when traveling in foreign countries, what I'm about to describe. It's, I'm sure many of you will relate to what I'm about to describe. But when I got home from that experience, I turned on the internet, and in a certain forum, I'm not going to move on YouNow, I know there were maybe 100 people talking about me. I didn't check the number. And, as soon as I turned on that forum, it lists that I'm present. And everyone there kind of squeals with delight and says, "Oh, it's à-bas-le-ciel," or "Oh, it's I.R.L." They act like I'm famous. They act like it's hard to find me. And that doesn't give me any ego trip whatsoever. It leaves me cold. And it's especially strange and especially difficult to deal with. And the other context I'm alluding to, that every day I'm just in a struggle to feed myself, and in every day I'm dealing with the horror, with the spectacle of, what the meat and dairy industry is, whether or not I really see that directly or encounter it symbolically, in the form of the final product. It's on offer all around you in a society like this day by day. So yesterday, I'd already spent several hours preparing and uploading videos onto YouTube, and I didn't want to put more hours into it. I was going en route to a particular shop where my teacher told me they would have European style bread, they would have French bread, and that this bread would therefore not have dairy, would not have eggs, that I'd be able to get vegan bread there, which is hard to do here in China, because they believe that in terms of making it worth your money and making it healthy and making it appealing, they should always be pumping as much eggs and dairy into bread products as possible. So on my way to this shop where I think I can get bread that's vegan, that happens to be vegan, taking a route I don't normally take, passed by a shop that sells different traditional Chinese snacks, baozi, jiaozi, steamed buns, steamed dumplings, that kind of thing. And I'm looking at the menu, and every single item on the menu has the Chinese symbol for meat somewhere in the name. So I assume there's nothing remotely vegan, but of course there can be. And I strike up a conversation with the woman behind the counter, and she's not just professional with me, she's really nice, she's really friendly, and she absolutely insists that they do have a vegan option on the menu, type of jiaozi. And she packages this up, she wants to sell it to me, and I ask all the right questions. Are you sure it doesn't have egg? Are you sure it doesn't have pork fat as an ingredient? Etc., etc. And I'm just walking to this other place where I'm going to try to buy bread. It's not a big deal. But if this is a vegan option in my area, I'm interested to know about it. And she actually follows up. She asked me a question. She said, so why did you decide to become vegan? This is all talked about in Chinese. And I give her an answer. I said, when you spend money on animal products, you're paying to harm animals. You're paying to kill animals. Give her this kind of answer in Chinese. It's got this bag of steamed dumplings. Walking in the street, open up one of the dumplings. Can't see the meat. I can't smell the meat. I really take the time. I'm really getting my nose into it. I'm really looking at it as closely as I possibly can. There's no way I can see or smell any meat in this. And even then, when I put it into my mouth, I'm nowhere near swallowing it. I just start to chew on it a little bit, have this in my mouth. I can taste the meat. The texture of animal fat, unmistakable, even though it's been so many years since I've eaten meat. I can feel in my mouth. And I spit it out, and I throw the rest in the garbage. And, as I'm walking the rest of the way to try to buy the bread, I'm spitting and spitting because I didn't swallow any of it, but still, there are little bits in your teeth. And it's that classic Chinese thing. It's that absolutely standard Chinese thing of, the whole dumpling really is made out of meat. But it's fine diced meat. If I had to guess, I would guess that it contained both pork and chicken mixed in with little bits of green vegetables, I walked the rest of the way to the shop where I thought they might have bread that I could possibly consume. When I get there, I look at every packaged bread, every whatever you want to say, bag of bread. They have stickers on them, and in Chinese, I'm scanning them and I'm finding the symbol for the Chinese language, so I'm finding the symbols for bread. Finding the symbols for egg, milk, etc. on every single loaf of bread. And I ask one of the members of staff, do you think you have a single loaf of bread here that doesn't have egg in it? That doesn't have... Yeah, I just asked about egg. And the woman replied calmly, they all have egg. Disappointed, walking into that shop and getting to the bread section, getting out again, took maybe 20 minutes. I leave, I'm coming back down the street. And I know I'm going to pass the shop again that just put meat in my mouth. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking through the different possibilities. Maybe they're going to be nice about it. Maybe they're going to be angry at me. Maybe it's going to escalate. Maybe there's going to be confrontation. I talked to a woman at the front, but there was a guy in the back who was obviously the boss. When I paid with a big bill, she had to go to that guy, to the boss in the back. He handled the money change. Maybe he's going to come down and get in my face or something. Go up to her. I explain in Chinese. You lied to me. Maybe you didn't know that you lied to me, but already when I say that to her, I can see in her face she did know. But this is made of meat. Chinese, I said, this is made of meat. This uses meat. This has meat. This is meat. Maybe you didn't know. But if you did know, you lied to me. And if you're going to lie to vegan people this way and say that this doesn't contain meat when it does, you're going to have a problem. And it's telling about Chinese culture. I didn't raise my voice at all. I was speaking in a very calm, low voice, but very obviously what I was saying was very serious. And not only could she tell it was serious, treated seriously, but her boss, who was in the office in the back, I assume he was the manager or something like that, he came out of his office and came down. And just by the expression on his face, I didn't think he was going to get angry at me. He just seemed like he wanted to be helpful. You could tell there was a problem. But I remember thinking, I'm going to leave now. Because even if it's just a possibility, this is going to get aggravated. I don't want to get into a fist fight in this restaurant over meat dumplings, And again, just physically, the sense of revulsion. I spat and spat out, and I'm trying to clean out of your teeth any traces of it. But it lingers on a long walk home. And I remember, because I'd, taken it out of my mouth so quickly also, I had some of the feeling on my fingers. And obviously, I said the texture of animal fat in your mouth, it's very different from vegetable fat. But I gotta say, it's the first time in my life when I really felt the difference on my fingers, when it felt different, the remnants of it on my hand on the walk home. And, just today, so that was yesterday, just today, I had to yell at the director of this school on the telephone because I actually couldn't get any food today. I didn't have any lunch, and my dinner was a joke. And the director of this school is vegan. She's an ethical vegan. She's an ethical and religious vegan. She's a Buddhist vegan. So I know she sympathized with me. I know I've talked to her before. It's not, the feeling of the fat in your fingers. It's not the taste of the fat in my mouth. It's the way this connects to being part of a whole society and a whole civilization that just doesn't care. It's what it represents. It's the thousands of unseen animals that every day are getting killed and that are going to be replaced tomorrow, day after day after day. Because that one stand is going to keep on selling meat dumplings, and the shop next to it is going to keep selling barbecue and what have you. And in this society, in Kunming, the fact that there is no alternative, the fact that I do actually have to go hungry, the fact that I do have to shout at the director of the school, the fact that I have to take it that far and get involved with that kind of conflict. It's just hard. It's hard and it's disheartening. And like I say, I wish I was delivering a positive message to people the way religious figures do or what have you. But the main message I have to share with people isn't that we can make the world a better place. It's just that we can wake up and recognize how terrible a place the world already is. And then I have to come home and I turn on the internet and I contrast that to the strange glee of these people who are manufacturing drama out of my life, who are making up lies and stories about me, and who seem to be so entertained, who seem to be so delighted to lie about my divorce, about my career, about my education, about my private life, about my sex life, to make up lies and defamation with me. They're getting so much joy out of that. And, like I said at the beginning, it's wonderful to have something so meaningful in your life that it can make you cry, that it can make you laugh, that it can motivate you day after day. But the main way I experience veganism is exactly this terrible burden. And, even in that moment, even when someone asked me, this woman selling me these meat dumplings and lying to my face and saying that they're vegan, when she asked me, why are you vegan? I mean, she, on the level of language, she understood exactly what I said when I gave her the answer. But of course, there's also a level on which she'll never understand. And she'll never understand the gulf between me and her, and the really invidious sense of separation between me and the other people in this little society, in this school. You know? And I guess that's the sad thing. I value the fact that I'm not alone. I said to another vegan on the internet just a few days ago, he was lamenting how terrible the situation was within the vegan scene, within the vegan so-called community, digital vegan Demimonde. And I said back to him, look, man, I know what it's like to be loved. I know what it's like to be hated. I know what it's like to be alone. I'm not alone. And I am grateful to the internet. Despite the fact that I live in these strange circumstances, I had to move from Canada to China. I moved from Taiwan to Canada to China. I used to live in Cambodia. I've had to move again and again. It's really helped me live a life where I'm much less alone. I am grateful for that. I really appreciate that. I do. But when I look to the internet for people who can sympathize with that struggle, yes, the political struggle, the aspiration to make the world a better place, the aspiration to actually make progress on these issues, politically, in terms of getting organized, activism, advocacy, lobbying government for change, or even public education, outreach, dietary advice, etc., etc., etc. It's really strange to have people leering back at you, laughing, and treating me as famous. Not because of what I have to say about the message or about activism, but because of these lies being told about my sex life, my private life, because of the so-called drama, industry. It's weird. It's a weird contrast. And just when I sat down yesterday, coming right back in from that experience of having someone lie to me, ending up with meat being in my mouth briefly, spitting it out, so and then seeing those people delighted to see my name pop up on the internet and treating me as famous. Some of us are actually motivated by wanting to address the underlying issues here. Some of us are not trying to get famous, or not trying to make money, or not trying to get laid. Some of us, in some small way, actually want to change the world. Even if it's just so that we have the satisfaction of knowing that we're not suffering for nothing. You know? Gotta say, in all those ways, like big and small, even just yesterday and today, struggle to eat, struggle to live without making those compromises, struggle to communicate with other people, live in a society that despises you, despises me and my values, that makes no place for you, that you don't fit. It's hard. It's hard and it's lonesome, and not in a shallow way. And I know that's why I come on the internet. And I guess at least I can say that, man. I know what it's like to be loved. I know what it's like to be hated. I know what it's like to be alone.